This is probably one of the hardest videos I've ever had to film on my channel, and probably the video where I'll ever be the most serious. So, as you can see by the title, it says I lost my job in a very expensive city, and I want to just share with you what's been really going on in my life lately. I do want to warn you that this video is going to be kind of long, so if you don't like long videos where people are being real and authentic with themselves and they're being very vulnerable, then I ask that you click away from this video and don't move forward. But if you want to know what's really going on in my life and you feel like this could be something that you could relate to, then grab a snack because I'm about to get into what's been going on right now. I just kind of want to start off with how I even got into the job that I just lost. I got hired last year and I was getting out of a really bad situation for my first job out of school. I was an ABA therapist. If you don't know what that stands for, it stands for Applied Behavior Analysis. And I was basically providing therapeutic interventions for children who have autism. And while the work I did was very rewarding, it was hard, it was exhausting, and it honestly wasn't fun. It took me a really long time to get it out of that field, especially with the fact that my hours weren't stable and I was paid hourly and I just wasn't making enough money. So I had to leave, and I knew I just didn't want to do ABA for the rest of my life. I actually wanted to go into recruiting. So when I was ready to give up my job search, I got an email from someone at my company. They saying that they were looking for tech recruiters. So I thought to myself, oh, this could be a really great way to get started in that industry finally. So I replied back to it saying I wanted to chat, and I went through the interview process and I got hired. So that's kind of how it happened and how I ended up in my job. So the first 3 months of my job were great. I was learning a lot, and I was also getting paid more money, which was nice. And for once, I felt financially stable, because that was something that I was struggling with during my first 2 years in San Francisco, was that I just wasn't making any money. And as you all know, it's very expensive to live here. So I'd say back in April, my company got very toxic. There's a lot of micromanagement that went on in the company. There were times where I felt very powerless and I felt like I wasn't being treated fairly, and I just felt like I wasn't being trusted by management. But it wasn't just me. There were other people that felt that way too. So in May, there was a mass exodus from my company. Many people resigned and had offers from other companies that were going to give them better experience, better pay, better treatment overall. I think the ways that people resigned from my company were very hostile, but I understand why they wanted to leave. And my company lost a lot of great employees. I truly loved the people that I worked with. I really did. It makes sense as to why people left. And then over the summer, 2 more people left. And then in the fall, someone that I felt close with at my job left. And then I was the next person to go. But I didn't just quit. I was fired. So what was happening in my job, other than it being a toxic place to work, I felt very belittled, which goes back to the whole toxicity thing. Every time I started speaking up against something that I didn't agree with, I was basically told that my opinions were wrong and that my thoughts weren't rational, and it made me feel really crappy. And that's when I was starting to realize I no longer was aligning with my company's values anymore. And I realized, like, I wanted to leave, and I was applying for jobs behind their back at home, trying to see if I could get out and quit on good terms with the company. But I was having a hard time getting interviews because I was still a little bit too junior, which I guess makes sense. Another thing that struggled with my company is that it's not that I wasn't good at what I did, it's just that I was struggling to make placements. I was an agency recruiter, and that's basically a sales job. And I'm not really a salesperson, I'm a people person. I would rather do something more HR-y than sales. A reason that I struggled to make placements was on performance, but my performance wasn't my fault. I had a lot of bad clients who wouldn't get back to me in a timely manner to accept or reject candidates that I submitted to them. I had 2 clients that would literally take weeks, even a month, to get back to me. I would follow up with them, and that just creates a really terrible candidate experience. That really hindered my success. And then towards the fall, my roles were starting to die, and I was requesting to get more roles that would give me traction again, and they weren't listening to me. They felt like I didn't deserve more roles when I really needed more roles. I kept asking for help, and they wouldn't give me help. I was struggling. I was trying everything I could to become a better tech recruiter at this company, and they just didn't care. My boss was always traveling, and I just felt very alone. I was the only person on my team. Everyone quit. And on the other side, everyone was making placements, and then there's me sitting alone in the corner just by myself. And it didn't feel good. I felt forgotten about. I felt uncared about. I just felt like I didn't belong at my company. So I really wanted to leave. I really did. But I didn't just want to quit my job without something lined up in an expensive city like San Francisco. I'm going to tell you what happened and what led me to losing my job. So in October, I finally got a new role. I was really excited about getting a new role, and I thought that I could make easy placements with this opportunity. The outreach email was written in the way that my company sources and recruits candidates is through cold emails. Keep in mind, I do not write these emails. Management does. So as I'm sending out these emails to these candidates, just nobody really seemed to be interested in working for this company. That was hindering my process. Again, that's something that was not at fault. And I tried sourcing through LinkedIn and trying to send emails that way. Just nobody wanted to interview with this company. And the candidates that did want to interview, that I did submit, would get a screen, and that was it. They didn't move forward. Apparently their communication skills were poor, whatever. Anytime that I did submit candidates, they got rejected even though I was following what the client wanted. So I was working with one of the company's founders on this position, and he pulled me aside. Let's just say him and I have different personalities and we have different working styles. So he basically threatened me, saying that you need to get 10 accepts this week. You've been struggling. You haven't made a placement since July. And I'm starting to feel like your heart's really not in this. And I started tearing up because he wasn't wrong, but I didn't want to let him know that. I mean, I teared up just saying I haven't been getting the support and help that I've needed lately, and I feel very uncared about, and that is impacting my performance here. And he was saying, Ilana, you need to make 10 placements by the end of this week, and keep in mind this conversation was on a Wednesday in the middle of the week. And he said, otherwise, we're going to have to discuss your exit from this company. Thinking okay, challenge accepted. I'm really going to try to get this done. He had told me to ask other recruiters for other candidates and really try pulling people from their pipelines and just to submit these people directly, which I felt like was a very shady approach. So I stalked my coworkers' pipelines and looking for candidates who I thought could easily get accepted by my clients. So I was making my coworkers do extra work, and I kept pestering them saying did you call this candidate? Did you call this candidate? I didn't like that I was doing that. And I don't think my coworkers really appreciated it either. And it got to the point where I was able to try to submit one, and then that candidate ended up getting an offer somewhere else, and then I had to lie to my client saying, oh, something happened, blah, 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 blah. It was just embarrassing, and this is why I didn't want to follow these directions, because I knew that his approach was just a bad idea. Monday rolls around. I was supposed to go into a meeting that started at 6 p.m., and 5 minutes before that meeting started, same co-founder pulled me aside saying, can I talk to you really quick? I didn't think anything of it. I thought he just wanted to see how my client was doing, because I was starting to pick up a little bit of traction that day. And he told me, yeah, this isn't working out. We're just going to let you go. And I was just like, okay. I held it together, but I was really pissed because I just lost my job in the most expensive city in the country. How was I supposed to pay my rent? How was I going to pay my bills? He fired me at 11 months of experience. That's not gonna look good on my resume. mean, I'm just really annoyed because I was literally set up to fail. Why did this company even hire me? I don't understand. I'm not gonna lie, like, I was feeling a little bit relieved that I lost my job because I was unhappy there, and waking up every day was something that I didn't want to do. I did not want to go to this job. I was done. I was over it. I was so miserable. I loved recruiting, but agency recruiting is not what I wanted to do. I know that I would be so much better doing it in-house or doing something more college recruiting focused. And those were opportunities that I couldn't get at my company. And there was also no room for growth. So I honestly saw this job loss as a blessing in disguise, yet it also left me unemployed. And they did give me severance, but it wasn't enough for me to pay December rent. For December, I barely was able to make my rent. Barely. And then January, this month, my parents had to pay for it, and they're not going to pay for February, so this is where I'm currently at right now. I've been very proactive since I lost my job. I took a day off to decompress from the situation, and then I immediately started applying to jobs. I lost track on how many recruiting positions in the Bay Area that I applied for, but as of now, 10 places have contacted me requesting for interviews, and out of those 10 places, I've gone through 16 different interviews, and it's all been a bunch of no's. And I'm really frustrated. I've gotten ghosted by a couple people after an on-site. I've followed up, and they've just all treated me like crap. The job market is bullshit. I kind of feel a little bit embarrassed because, like, I made a whole video about being a tech recruiter and what hiring managers are looking for, and I am literally experiencing the reasons as to why candidates get rejected. And those two reasons are my company and my lack of experience. And I found out from another company that apparently my old company isn't very well respected in the Bay Area. And it doesn't feel really good to come from a company and find out that your company isn't very respected. That's beyond my control. I don't have control of that. So part of me wonders if where I came from is hindering my process in my job search. I don't interview poorly at all, but I think having barely less than a year of experience is hurting me, and that isn't my fault. I was trying to get that experience, and apparently, like, mine is not enough. So I'm not gonna lie, I've been really embarrassed. Part of me just feels like I'm gonna be unemployed for a really long time. Now this brings me to what now? So this month is coming to an end. I'm still unemployed, and unfortunately, I have to leave San Francisco. I've lived here for 3 years, and this has been my home. This has been the best 3 years of my life, and I have to immediately throw it away because I lost my job. And it's really, really unfortunate, and I know I'm not the only person who's going through this, and if you're watching this and you're in this exact same situation, just know that you're not alone. But this is my reality, and I have been very realistic in understanding that I have to leave, even though it's breaking my heart and I'm absolutely devastated, and a lot of my friends are really upset that I have to leave. I really established a life here, and this really helped me with a lot of my social media stuff, and now I have to feel like I have to start over in another city. Like, I just don't know what I'm going to do. And I really don't want to hear in the comment sections, oh, everything will work out, you'll find another job. Because, like, honestly, guys, I really don't want another job. I really don't like the 9-to-5 life. It's just not for me. But, I mean, I know I need money right now, and obviously I'm not even close to being a full-time YouTuber. I know that right now I just need to do something to kill the time in order for me to reach my goals and be my own boss. That would be a dream, to be my own boss and work for myself and focus on my passions and share that with others. Because at the end of the day, doing something I love and not making that much money is so much more important than doing something I hate and making a ton of money. I don't believe that money buys you happiness. I think it can contribute to your happiness because you have bills and rent to pay. but it doesn't buy happiness. I don't believe that, and I probably have a different attitude about money than other people. What I'm trying to do is still focus on finding another recruiting job, but maybe looking at New York City or Philadelphia, because it's close to some family I have up north, and my brother lives in Philadelphia, so that would be cool to be close to him. But right now, I am forced to move back to my hometown. And my hometown is very toxic, and I can make a whole nother video about what it's like to move back to your toxic hometown, because I have no problem shitting on Richmond. I hate it, and I'm pissed that I have to go back there and live with my parents. It's not a good feeling. Like, I'm 28 years old. I just feel like I shouldn't have to live with my parents. This is just so ridiculous, even though I know I'm not alone in this situation. I'm sure there are other people that have experienced this, but I'm not gonna lie, it still feels really embarrassing, and I feel like my pride has been shot, and I feel like everything that I've worked so hard for, and everything that I've done for myself, especially in San Francisco, it's about to feel like it never happened. And I know that I can easily move back to San Francisco. I guess my biggest fear is if I move back that none of my friends will be there, but I would rather live alone in a place that I absolutely love, because I am a very independent person. We'll see what happens, but I am really scared about what my future holds. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't. But I know that the dynamic of my channel is going to shift a little bit. I still will talk about dating, but my dating life is going to be put on hold because I refuse to date in my hometown, especially with the fact that I don't plan on staying there. It's going to be very, very temporary. But I think my next couple of videos are probably going to be focusing on just post-San Francisco life, what now, and this journey and how I'm overcoming that. Just because, again, I'm not alone in this situation, and I hope that if you're out there watching who's going through the same thing, you've lost your job in a big city and you're facing the realities right now, I hope that this video helps you in some kind of way. That's like why I'm making this video. Not just to catch you up on what's been going on in my life, but I truly want to be able to relate to others and share this and make other people not feel bad about them losing their job, because it happens all the time, and I want us to be able to get through this hardship together. So if you've stuck around this long watching, thank you for being here, and all I have to say is that this too shall pass. I will see you in my next video.